Joining me now is California Representative Devin Nunes, who says we have to rethink every single aspect of federal spending, and we need to do it now. Representative, some Democrats have said they'd be willing to look at some things, even Medicare and Medicaid. Any chance of them doing anything more than just looking at them?
Well, I just came out of a hearing where the new OMB director was just there presenting the president's budget. And the president's budget this year is no different than it was last year, no different than it was the year before, other than they always tell us that, oh yes, we're balancing the budget, we're solving all these problems, yet there are no specifics, and every year the debt gets worse and the debt gets bigger.
Representative, I'm going to go through a few of what we found, and we went through this quite extensively, a couple of the tricks that they've included in the 2012 proposed budget. Number one is there's an additional $30 billion tax on the banks. Now, everyone hates the banks. I get it. They're an easy target. But, again, the financial crisis responsibility fee, they call it, it's really a tax. It's $30 billion. Let me get to a couple of the others. $758 million are projecting as a surplus for the U.S. Postal Service. Meanwhile, last year it lost $682 million, and it's projected in 2012, the following year, from the projection of a surplus, they're expected to lose $5.3 billion. I'm not sure how that happens. And the big one, the Mac Daddy of them all, for me, I spend a lot of time looking at these things. They expect a 3.6% annual growth rate in the economy. If we don't get that, sir, this budget and this plan and this $1.1 trillion could be $2.2 trillion in new deficits.
Well, first of all, you'd be better off reading Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. That would be more factual than the president's budget. So just stop reading the budget now. Let me talk about this morning. We had Kathleen Sebelius, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, basically in charge of implementing the Obamacare bill. One of the questions we had this morning that the chairman asked the secretary was something technical in the bill, but it was a new entitlement that Obamacare created. And we could not find it anywhere in the HHS budget. So we asked her a specific question: where is this money at? And she couldn't tell us at first. A few moments later, she then came back and says, oh yes, it's in the Treasury Department's section of the budget. And so we had to go to find it because, you know, why would we have to look at Department of Treasury if we wanted to find something that had to do with Obamacare?
What was it?
Only because they were hiding it.
No, but what was it?
They were trying to hide the money.
What is it, a printing press? They're going to print that money? How are they going to come up with that money?
Well, it's a grant program for Obamacare, but what they did is by hiding it, by basically not showing it in the Health and Human Services budget, no one can find it in there, and then they basically allow themselves to halfway tell the truth by saying, well, it is in there, and it was buried in the back of the Treasury Department. But even with that, it was only 3 years in a 10-year budget window. So that's why I said that you'd be better off reading children's fiction books than you would be reading this budget. Just throw it away or use it for firewood or to start fires. It's not worth anything.
Representative, before we let you go, real quickly, we'd like you to weigh in on the Small Business Administration losing 45% of their funding in this 2012 budget. A lot of people that watch us, a lot of people that follow us, a lot of people that voted you into your job are small business people, and they're looking at this saying, why are you beating up on small businesses?
Well, I think what has to happen is every area. I mean, I have folks from all over the country, and especially in my district, who are contacting me saying, don't cut me. The fact is that everyone has to take a cut, but most importantly, we have to get to entitlement reform. We have to get to Medicare, Medicaid, Obamacare, and Social Security reform. Without that, we can never balance the budget.
All right. We're going to leave it there. We appreciate your time, Representative Nunes.
Thanks, Eric.